Daniel Harper sat in the transport shuttle as it moved through the dark space. He looked out the window at the massive station ahead. Meridian Prime was the center of galactic power. This place decided the fate of billions of lives across thousands of worlds. Daniel was only a human diplomat. His species had joined the galaxy just 200 years ago. Many other species had been here for thousands of years. The shuttle docked with a soft bump. Daniel stood up and straightened his dark blue uniform. Lisa Grant, his military attaché, walked beside him. She was a commander in Earth's defense forces. Her eyes were always watching, always ready. "They are not going to like what you plan to say," Lisa told him quietly. "I know," Daniel replied. "But someone has to say it." The doors opened. The council chamber was enormous. It was shaped like a giant circle with seats rising up in rings. Hundreds of species sat in those seats. Some looked like birds with bright feathers. Others looked like reptiles with scales that shined under the lights. Some were so different that Daniel could not understand their shape at all. Daniel walked to the center of the floor. Above him, Counselor Thera sat in the highest seat. She was ancient and wise. Her species could read thoughts and feelings. Her large eyes watched Daniel with something that looked like sadness. "This emergency session is now open," Thera said. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "We gather because the Vortak Empire has violated our treaties. They have taken 3 neutral colonies by force. The Council must decide how to respond." Overlord Vexus rose from his seat. He was the leader of the Vortak Empire. His scales were dark red and his eyes were cold. "Those colonies were abandoned," he said. His voice was rough and mean. "We simply moved in to protect them. No law was broken." Ambassador Krenth, an avian diplomat, spread his wings. "Lies," he said. "We all know what happened." But his voice was weak. He looked around at the other council members. "What can we do? Our laws say we cannot interfere in the affairs of member empires." Daniel watched the discussion go on for hours. Every species spoke about their ancient laws and old traditions. No one wanted to act. They were all afraid of breaking their precious rules. Meanwhile, people were suffering on those colonies. The Vortak soldiers were taking everything they wanted. Finally, Counselor Thera spoke again. "It seems we have no choice. Our laws prevent us from taking action. The matter is closed." Daniel stood up. "Wait," he said. His voice was not loud, but everyone heard it. The chamber became silent. "The human delegate wishes to speak?" Thera asked. She looked surprised. "Yes," Daniel said. He walked to the center of the floor. "I have listened to this council for hours. I have heard about your laws and your traditions. But I have not heard one word about what is right. Those colonies are filled with innocent people. They are being hurt and robbed. And this council does nothing." Vexus laughed. It was a harsh sound. "And what would humans do? You are a young species. You have no power here." Daniel turned to face him. "You are right. We are young. But we remember what it means to stand up against bullies. On Earth, we learned long ago that peace is not kept by running away from problems. Peace is kept by being strong enough to defend what is right." The chamber filled with angry voices. Many species began shouting at once. "Order," Thera called out. But Daniel kept talking. "If this council will not defend those colonies, then humanity will. We will send our ships. We will protect those people. And we will face the Vortak Empire if we must." The chamber exploded with noise. Ambassador Krenth flew down from his seat. "This is madness," he shouted. "You cannot make such a decision alone. Earth is not authorized to take military action." "I am not asking for permission," Daniel said calmly. "I am informing this council of humanity's decision. If you will not protect the innocent, we will." Vexus stood up to his full height. He was twice as tall as Daniel. "You dare threaten the Vortak Empire?" he roared. "We will crush you. We will make an example of your pathetic species." Daniel did not step back. He looked directly at the Overlord. "That is your choice to make. But know this. Humanity does not make threats. We make promises. And we keep them. Lisa Grant moved closer to Daniel. She touched her wrist communicator. I am sending the signal now, she whispered. Earth will receive our report in 1 hour. Counselor Thera raised her hand. The chamber became quiet again. Delegate Harper, she said. Do you understand what you have done? You have broken 800 years of peace. You have challenged the very foundation of this council. Daniel looked up at her. With respect, Counselor, there is no peace when innocent people suffer. There is only silence. And humanity will not be silent anymore. He turned and walked toward the exit. Lisa followed him. Behind them, the council erupted into chaos. Species were shouting at each other. Some demanded that humanity be punished. Others were silent, watching with careful eyes. As the doors closed behind them, Lisa spoke. Well, we did it. We just started a war. Daniel nodded. His face was tired but determined. No, he said. We just ended a lie. The galaxy has been pretending to have peace for too long. Real peace requires courage. And today, we showed them what courage looks like. They walked back to their shuttle in silence. Daniel knew that his message would reach Earth soon. He knew that his government might be angry with him. He had made a promise that could cost millions of lives. But he also knew it was the right thing to do. Sometimes, standing up for what is right means standing alone. And if humanity had to stand alone against the galaxy, then so be it. Senator Margaret Ross stood in the government chamber on Earth. Around her, other leaders were arguing loudly. Some wanted to recall Daniel Harper immediately. Others wanted to support him. The room was divided. He had no authority to make that promise, one senator shouted. He has put Earth in danger. We must apologize to the council and bring him home. Margaret listened to them all. Then she spoke. Her voice was calm but strong. Daniel Harper spoke the truth. Those colonies need help. The Galactic Council has failed in its duty. If we back down now, we tell the galaxy that humanity has no spine. We tell them that we are afraid. But can we win against the Vortak Empire? Another senator asked. They have thousands of ships. We have hundreds. Margaret pulled up a display. It showed Earth's military strength. We have been preparing for this moment, she said. Our ships are fast. Our weapons are advanced. And our people know how to fight smart, not just hard. Numbers are not everything. After hours of debate, the vote came. Earth would support Daniel Harper's promise. They would defend the colonies. Margaret sent the official message to the Galactic Council that same day. There was no going back now. Daniel was already on his way to New Haven, one of the threatened colonies. It was a small world with farms and families. 10,000 people lived there. They had built a peaceful life far from the politics of the galaxy. Now, Vortak ships were in orbit above their planet. Captain Eric Stone commanded the Earth defense ship Valiant. It was one of the newest ships in the fleet. Eric was a veteran officer with 20 years of experience. He had fought in border conflicts and pirate raids. But he had never faced an empire's full military power. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Amy Chun, studied her screens. Captain, we are approaching New Haven. I count 12 Vortak warships in orbit. They are armed and ready. Eric nodded. Open a channel to the planet. Let them know help has arrived. Then open a channel to the Vortak ships. The view screen showed the Vortak commander. He looked amused. So the humans have arrived, he said. 1 ship against 12. This will be entertaining. Eric spoke clearly. This is Captain Eric Stone of the Earth Defense Forces. New Haven is under our protection. You will withdraw your forces immediately. This is your only warning. The Vortak commander laughed. You dare give me orders? We do not take orders from humans. We will take this colony. And if you try to stop us, we will destroy you. Eric cut the channel. Amy, bring weapons online. Set defense shields to maximum. Alert all crew to battle stations. Down on the planet, Daniel Harper stood with the colony's leaders. They watched the sky with fear. Those are Vortak warships, one leader said. His voice shook. We cannot fight them. Maybe we should just surrender. Daniel put a hand on the man's shoulder. You will not have to fight. Earth keeps its promises. Help is already here. In space, the Vortax ships began to move. They formed an attack line and started moving toward the Valiant. Their weapons charged with energy. Amy watched her screen. Captain, they are preparing to fire. Range in 10 seconds. Eric sat in his command chair. His face was calm. Wait for it, he said. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. They are firing, Amy shouted. Now, Eric said. Execute defensive pattern Delta. Return fire. The Valiant moved fast. It twisted and turned in ways the Vortax did not expect. Their shots missed. At the same time, the Valiant's weapons fired back. The shots were precise and deadly. 2 Vortax ships exploded immediately. A third lost its engines and drifted away. The Vortax commander's face appeared on the screen again. He looked shocked. Impossible, he said. No one can move a ship that fast. Eric smiled. You have never fought humans before. We do not believe in fair fights. We believe in winning. You have one more chance. Withdraw now, or we destroy the rest of your fleet. The Vortax commander looked at his own damaged forces. Then he looked at the single human ship that had just destroyed a quarter of his fleet in seconds. For the first time, fear showed in his eyes. Retreat, he ordered his fleet. Fall back to the border. We need reinforcements. The Vortax ships turned and jumped to faster-than-light speed. In moments, they were gone. The battle was over. New Haven was safe. On the planet, people cheered. They hugged each other and cried with relief. Daniel Harper watched the celebration. Lisa Grant stood beside him. That was impressive, she said. 1 ship against 12. Captain Stone is a good officer. Daniel nodded. But this is just the beginning. Vexus will not accept this defeat. He will come back with more ships. And next time, it will not be so easy. News of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Every species heard about it. 1 human ship had defeated 12 Vortax warships. The Galactic Council met again in emergency session. Some species condemned humanity as warmongers. They said humans were dangerous and violent. But other species were quiet. They remembered their own struggles against bullies. They remembered what it was like to need help and receive none. And they began to wonder if maybe the humans were right. Maybe peace through strength was better than peace through silence. Overlord Vexus sat in his throne room. His claws dug into the armrests. He watched the battle recording again and again. These humans, he said to his generals, they fight differently. They do not follow our tactics. They are unpredictable. One general spoke. My lord, perhaps we should negotiate. The council might force them to back down. Vexus roared in anger. Never. I will not negotiate with insects. Gather our full battle fleet. We will crush Earth and every human in the galaxy. This is now total war. 6 months had passed since the Battle of New Haven. The galaxy had changed. Species were choosing sides. Some remained loyal to the old Galactic Council and its policy of non-interference. Others joined with the Vortax Empire, seeing humanity as a threat to the old order. A few species secretly supported Earth but were afraid to say so publicly. Admiral Richard Cole now commanded Earth's combined fleet. He was a man in his 60s with gray hair and sharp eyes. He had spent his whole life preparing for war, but he never thought it would come like this. His fleet had grown to over 300 ships. It was still small compared to the Vortax coalition, but every ship was ready to fight. In his command center, Richard studied the star maps. General Victoria Lane, Earth's top military strategist, stood beside him. She pointed to 3 locations on the map. These are our vulnerable colonies: Paradise Station, Liberty Point, and Silver Ridge. Intelligence says Vexus is planning to attack all 3 at the same time. Richard frowned. A coordinated strike. He wants to force us to choose which colonies to save. If we split our forces too much, we will be weak everywhere. Victoria nodded. It is a good strategy. But we have an advantage. We know it is coming. I have a plan that might work, but it is risky. Richard looked at her. Show me. Victoria pulled up tactical displays. We divide our fleet into 3 groups, just like they expect. But we position defensive platforms at each location in advance. Small automated weapons that can fight without a crew. When the Vortak arrive, the platforms engage first. Our ships jump in during the confusion. We hit them from behind. Richard studied the plan carefully. It could work. But if our timing is wrong, we lose everything. Give the orders. Deploy the platforms immediately. 3 days later, the Vortak coalition attacked. Their fleets appeared at all 3 colonies within minutes of each other. Just as Victoria had predicted, they came in overwhelming force. 50 warships at Paradise Station. 40 at Liberty Point. 60 at Silver Ridge. At Silver Ridge, Commander Henry Walsh led the defense. He commanded a squadron of Earth's fastest fighter ships. His pilots were the best in the fleet. Among them was Karen Martinez, a young pilot with incredible skill and nerves of steel. The Vortak fleet moved toward the colony. Their commander was confident. They did not see the hidden defensive platforms floating in the asteroid field nearby. They did not see the human fighters waiting in the shadows of the moons. All units, Henry said over the communications. Wait for my signal. Let them get close. The Vortak ships came closer. Their weapons charged. They prepared to fire on the colony below. Now, Henry shouted. The defensive platforms activated. They poured missiles and laser fire into the Vortak fleet from all directions. The enemy ships turned in confusion, trying to find their attackers. At the same moment, Henry's fighters screamed out of hiding. They dove into the middle of the enemy formation. Karen Martinez flew her fighter through the chaos like a dancer. She spun and twisted between enemy ships. Her weapons never stopped firing. She destroyed 3 Vortak ships in the first minute. Other pilots followed her lead. The enemy fleet fell into disorder. Then the main human fleet arrived. Admiral Cole's ships jumped out of faster-than-light speed right behind the Vortak forces. They opened fire immediately. The Vortak were trapped between the fighters, the platforms, and the fleet. It was a perfect ambush. The battle was brutal but short. The Vortak lost half their ships before they could organize a retreat. Karen's fighter took heavy damage, but she survived. She managed to cripple the enemy flagship before limping back to the carrier. At Paradise Station and Liberty Point, the story was similar. Earth's forces used speed, tactics, and surprise to overcome larger enemy numbers. By the end of the day, all 3 colonies were safe. The Vortak coalition had lost over 70 ships. Earth had lost only 12. The news shocked the galaxy. The humans had not just survived. They had won decisively. Species across the stars began talking about Earth's military tactics. Young officers from other empires studied recordings of the battles. They had never seen anyone fight like this before. During the cleanup after the battle, a young Vortak officer named Subcommander Drexen was captured. His escape pod had been damaged. Earth's recovery teams found him floating in space and brought him aboard a medical ship. When he woke up, he expected torture or execution. That is what his commanders had told him humans would do. Instead, human doctors treated his injuries. They gave him food and clean clothes. They asked him questions politely, and when he refused to answer, they did not hurt him. They just nodded and left him in a comfortable cell with books and entertainment. Drexen was confused. He had been taught that humans were monsters. But everyone he met treated him with respect. One day, Daniel Harper came to speak with him. "Why do you not kill me?" Drexen asked. "I am your enemy." Daniel sat down across from him. "You were our enemy when you were fighting us. Now you are our prisoner. That means you are under our protection. We do not hurt prisoners. We do not hurt anyone who cannot fight back." Drexen thought about this. "But we attacked your people. We tried to kill you." Daniel nodded. "Yes, you did. And we fought back. But the fight is over now. You lost. That does not make you worthless. It makes you a soldier who fought for what he believed in. We can respect that, even if we disagree with your cause." This conversation changed Drexen's mind about humans. When he was eventually exchanged in a prisoner swap, he told other Vortak soldiers about his treatment. He told them that humans were fierce in battle but merciful in victory. Word spread among the younger generation of Vortak. Some began to question whether Vexus was right about this war. Back on Earth, Admiral Cole met with General Lane and Senator Ross. "We won 3 battles," Victoria said. "But we cannot keep this up forever. The Vortak have more ships than we do. Eventually, they will overwhelm us with numbers." Richard agreed. "We need allies. Real allies who will fight beside us, not just watch from the shadows." Margaret looked at intelligence reports. "Our analysts believe several species want to help us. They are afraid of Vexus, but they are also afraid of breaking from the Council. We need to give them a reason to join us." Daniel Harper, who was also at the meeting, spoke up. "Then we show them more than military victories. We show them what we are fighting for. We show them a better way to keep peace. Not through isolation, but through cooperation and mutual defense." But time was running out. Intelligence reports warned that Vexus was gathering his forces for something big. He was not planning to attack another colony. This time, he was planning to attack Earth itself. The war room on Earth was filled with tension. Admiral Richard Cole stood at the center, looking at the holographic display. It showed enemy fleet movements across the galaxy. The numbers were frightening. 2,000 ships, General Victoria Lane said quietly. "Vexus has gathered every ship he can find. They are all moving toward our solar system." "How many ships can we field?" Richard asked. 300, Victoria answered. "Maybe 350 if we pull every ship from every outpost. But that leaves our colonies undefended." Senator Margaret Ross entered the room. Her face was pale but determined. "We must send a message to the galaxy. One final message before this battle begins. We must tell them why we fight. Maybe it will inspire others to help us." Daniel Harper was chosen to deliver that message. He stood before cameras that would broadcast his words to billions of beings across thousands of worlds. He looked tired. The months of war had taken their toll. But his eyes were still bright with conviction. "My name is Daniel Harper," he began. "I am a diplomat from Earth. 6 months ago, I made a promise to defend innocent people who were being attacked. That promise led to this war. Some of you call us warmongers. Some of you say we are too aggressive. But I want you to understand something important." He paused and looked directly at the camera. "We do not fight because we love war. We fight because we refuse to kneel. We fight because we believe that peace means nothing if it requires good people to stay silent while evil people do whatever they want. Real peace requires courage. It requires standing up for what is right, even when standing up is hard. Even when standing up might cost us everything. In 2 days, a massive fleet will arrive at Earth. They come to destroy us. They come to teach the galaxy a lesson about what happens to those who dare to stand up. We will fight them with everything we have. We may lose. We may die. But we will die standing, not kneeling. And that matters. To any species watching this broadcast, I say this. You have a choice. You can continue to hide behind old laws and old traditions. You can watch as bullies take whatever they want. Or you can stand with us. You can help us build a new kind of peace. A peace based on mutual defense and shared values. A peace that actually means something. The choice is yours. But choose quickly. Time is running out." The broadcast ended. For a moment, there was silence across the galaxy. Then species began to react. The response was overwhelming. Daniel's words had touched something deep in millions of hearts. Young people from dozens of species began protesting in their home worlds. They demanded that their governments help Earth. They demanded action, not silence. On Meridian Prime, Counselor Thera watched the broadcast 3 times. She had lived for over 1,000 years. She had seen empires rise and fall. And in all that time, she had never heard someone speak with such honest conviction. She made a decision that would change everything. Thera called a secret meeting. She invited representatives from 47 different species. These were species who had been quietly supporting humanity but were afraid to act openly. She spoke to them for hours. She reminded them of their own histories. She reminded them of times when they needed help and received none. The humans are right, she told them. Our old ways have failed. We have maintained peace by allowing injustice. That is not real peace. That is just comfortable silence. If we let Earth fall, we are telling the galaxy that courage and honor mean nothing. We are telling bullies that they can do whatever they want as long as they are strong enough. But if we help Earth, we break from the Council, one representative said. We risk everything. Thera nodded. Yes. We risk everything. But what is the alternative? We watch Earth die. We let Vexus win. Then what stops him from attacking us next? What stops any aggressive empire from doing whatever it wants? No. We must act. We must help Earth. And we must do it now. The representatives looked at each other. Fear and hope mixed in their faces. Then, one by one, they agreed. They would break from the old council. They would send their ships to help Earth. 2 days later, the Vortac Coalition fleet arrived at Earth's solar system. Overlord Vexus stood on the bridge of his massive flagship. He looked at the small human fleet waiting for him. Only 300 ships. He smiled. This would be easy. Today, we end the human threat forever, he announced to his forces. We will destroy their home world. We will scatter their people across the stars. And the galaxy will remember what happens to those who challenge the Vortac Empire. But as his fleet prepared to attack, something impossible happened. Space around Earth began to ripple with new arrivals. Ships began appearing from faster-than-light jumps. Not human ships. Ships from dozens of different species. Hundreds of them. Then more. They kept coming. Admiral Cole watched the arrivals in disbelief. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Amy Chen, counted the new ships. 800 vessels, sir. All showing friendly identification codes. They are hailing us. Put them through, Richard ordered. Counselor Thera's face appeared on the screen. She looked different now. Younger somehow. More alive. Admiral Cole, she said. We heard your diplomat's message. 47 species have chosen to stand with humanity. We will fight beside you. Together, we will show the galaxy what real peace looks like. Richard could barely speak. He had prepared to die defending Earth. Now, suddenly, they had a chance to win. Thank you, he said simply. Welcome to the fight. Vexus stared at the display in rage. His 2,000 ships now faced over 1,100 defenders. The humans had allies. Real allies who were willing to fight. This changed everything. His generals looked nervous. My lord, one said carefully. Perhaps we should reconsider. We are no longer certain of victory. Vexus turned on him with fury. Coward! We have come too far to turn back. We attack now. All ships, full assault. Destroy them all. The greatest space battle in galactic history began. 2 massive fleets clashed in the darkness around Earth. Explosions lit up the void like new stars. Ships twisted and turned in deadly dances. Weapons fire crossed the void in streams of light. Captain Nicole Bennett commanded Earth's main orbital defense platform. It was a massive station covered in weapons. She coordinated the defense of Earth itself, making sure no enemy ship got close enough to threaten the planet below. Her gunners were the best Earth had. They fired with deadly accuracy. 3 Vortac capital ships tried to break through to Earth. Nicole's platform destroyed all 3. The debris scattered across space. The planet was safe, at least for now. In the main battle, the combined fleet fought with incredible coordination. Human tactics mixed with alien technology. Species who had never fought together before worked as one unit. They trusted each other. They protected each other. And slowly, they began to win. Admiral Cole led the assault on Vexus's flagship. His ship, along with 5 allied vessels, focused all fire on the massive enemy command ship. The flagship's shields held for a long time. But eventually, they failed. The ship was crippled. Its engines died. It drifted helpless in space. Boarding teams went across. They found Vexus on his bridge, still trying to give orders. He fought when they came for him, but he was quickly overwhelmed. They brought him back to the human flagship in chains. When the Vortak forces saw their leader captured, their will to fight broke. Ship after ship surrendered. Within hours, the battle was over. Earth had survived. The galaxy had changed forever. The war was over. Earth cities celebrated in the streets. People hugged strangers and cried tears of relief and joy. They had faced the largest invasion fleet in history and survived. More than that, they had won. But the real work was just beginning. In the weeks following the battle, representatives from the 47 allied species gathered on Earth. They came to the United Nations building in New York. This was where humanity had learned to govern itself centuries ago. Now it would become something much bigger. Daniel Harper stood at the podium. Behind him sat Counselor Thera, Admiral Cole, Senator Ross, and representatives from every species that had fought in the battle. The room was packed with beings from across the galaxy. Cameras broadcast the meeting to billions of viewers. "We stand at a turning point," Daniel began. The old Galactic Council maintained peace through isolation. They created rules that prevented action. They built a system where doing nothing was more important than doing what is right. That system failed. It failed the colonies that were attacked. It failed every species that wanted to help but was afraid to act. He looked around the room. But we can build something better. We can create a new alliance based on different principles. We stand together. We defend each other. We act when action is needed. This is not about one species ruling others. This is about all of us choosing to be stronger together than we could ever be alone. Thera rose to speak. She was the oldest being in the room by far. Her voice carried the weight of centuries. "I have lived a long time," she said. "I have seen peace and I have seen war. And I have learned something important. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of justice. When we allow injustice to exist because we are afraid of conflict, we do not have peace. We have surrender." She looked at Daniel with respect. The humans understood this. They showed us that real peace requires courage. It requires being willing to stand up for others, even at great cost. This is the foundation we must build upon. Over the next 3 days, they worked on a new charter. It was debated line by line. Every species had input. They argued and disagreed and compromised. But slowly, something beautiful emerged. The charter promised mutual defense. It promised that no species would stand alone against aggression. It promised that decisions would be made democratically, with every member having a voice. Most importantly, it promised action. The new council would not hide behind old laws. When someone needed help, help would come. When injustice occurred, it would be opposed. Not with overwhelming force or aggression, but with the strength of united peoples standing together. The charter was signed by all 47 species. They called it the Alliance for Mutual Defense. Within weeks, 20 more species asked to join. The old Galactic Council still existed, but it was now a shadow of what it had been. The future belonged to those willing to act. Humanity was given a permanent seat on the High Council of the new alliance. Not because they were the strongest or the oldest, but because they had shown the courage to stand up first. They had proven that doing the right thing mattered more than following old traditions. As for Overlord Vexus, he faced trial for his crimes. The tribunal was fair and thorough. Evidence was presented. Witnesses spoke. Vexus himself was allowed to defend his actions. In the end, he was found guilty of aggression against neutral colonies and sentenced to life imprisonment. But even in prison, he was treated with dignity. The new alliance would prove it was better than its enemies by how it treated those enemies. Subcommander Drexen, the young Vortak officer who had been captured and treated well by humans, became an important voice for reform in his own empire. He helped negotiate the Vortak Empire's eventual membership in the alliance. It took years of work, but eventually even former enemies found a place at the table. Karen Martinez became a legend. Her actions during the Battle of Silver Ridge were studied in military academies across the galaxy. She was promoted to squadron leader and trained the next generation of pilots. Many of those pilots came from allied species, learning human tactics and teaching their own in return. Admiral Cole retired from active duty but remained as an advisor to the Alliance Military Command. General Lane became the first human to lead a multi-species fleet. Captain Nicole Bennett received the highest honor Earth could give for her defense of the home world. Senator Margaret Ross became Earth's first ambassador to the new alliance. She worked tirelessly to build bridges between species and smooth over conflicts before they could grow into wars. 1 year after the Battle of Earth, Daniel Harper stood in the same spot where he had once shocked the old council. But now, the chamber looked different. The seats were rearranged into a circle where everyone was equal. New species sat in those seats. Young beings full of hope and energy. Thera sat beside him. She smiled, something she did more often these days. You changed the galaxy, Daniel Harper. One man with courage and conviction changed everything. Daniel shook his head. It was not just me. It was everyone who chose to stand up. Every species that sent ships to Earth. Every soldier who fought. Every citizen who supported the cause. Change requires many hands, not just one. Thera nodded. Perhaps. But someone had to go first. Someone had to be brave enough to speak the truth when everyone else was silent. That was you. The session began. The agenda was long. There were disputes to resolve, resources to allocate, and defense plans to coordinate. But there was also hope. Real hope that the galaxy could be better. That peace could mean something more than just the absence of war. Later that evening, Daniel and Admiral Cole stood on a balcony overlooking Geneva. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. They stood in comfortable silence for a while, just watching the day end. "Do you think it will last?" Admiral Cole asked. "This new alliance. This new way of doing things." Daniel thought about the question. "Nothing lasts forever. But we have given the galaxy something worth fighting for. Not just fighting against threats, but fighting for justice and cooperation. As long as people remember why we built this alliance, it will endure." Admiral Cole nodded. "We changed the galaxy. A year ago, I never would have believed it possible." Daniel smiled. "We did not change the galaxy alone. We showed them what was possible. We gave them courage by example. And they chose to follow. That is the real victory. Not that we won battles, but that we inspired others to believe in something better." They watched the sun disappear below the horizon. Darkness came, but so did the stars. Thousands of stars, each one a sun with its own worlds. Out there, billions of beings were going about their lives. They were safer now because a few people had been brave enough to stand up. The age of passive peace was over. The age of active cooperation had begun. It would not be easy. There would be challenges ahead. Disputes and disagreements. Perhaps even new conflicts. But now, the galaxy had something it never had before. A way to face those challenges together. A system built on courage and justice rather than fear and isolation. Daniel Harper had gone to the Galactic Council as a simple diplomat. He had spoken words that shocked the rulers of the galaxy. He had made a promise that started a war. But he had also started something much more important. He had started a movement. A movement toward a better future. The war was over. But the work of building peace, real peace, had just begun. And humanity, the young species that everyone had underestimated, would be at the heart of it all. They had proven themselves not through conquest or domination, but through courage and conviction. They had shown the galaxy that standing up for what is right matters more than anything else. And that, more than any battle or victory, was what would change the galaxy forever.